Hey, so the video that you're about to see was recorded during a day's hunt. When I went to edit the video for the day, I thought, you know what, this relic is just way too important to just include in a day's hunt with everything else. So I have made this video to focus just on this relic and what I did afterwards to preserve it. And I really think you're going to like the video. This is not something that most people will ever find in a lifetime of metal detecting. I certainly didn't think I would. Very special piece to find, and I hope you enjoy the video.
I got a signal down deep here, and again, it's under a bunch of roots, so that's a good sign. I think it was like 30s or something. So it being under roots, so now I just got to dig it out. And it's just tedious because you're pretty much doing it by hand. You can't just use your big shovel. Man, I would love to find a belt buckle. That's my bucket list. And I think this is pretty much virgin ground that I'm detecting, so man, it's just stuck in between a bunch of roots. Can't even tell what it is if I'm like touching on it because it's just nothing but roots. So I don't know if I'm like tapping on another root or what. And obviously you gotta be careful because you don't want to damage something by hacking at it. Alright, so this is it. What the heck is that? Feels like a piece of wood. Huh? I don't know. It's actually got a little weight to it. Alright, I got no clue what this is. It looks wood. You know what would be awesome? Back in the day, when they were first getting into areas with metal detectors, some people say that they got all the good stuff, but I think they just got all the obvious stuff. But the coolest thing, I've seen it before, is the pieces of wood that actually have a bullet stuck in it. And that's the kind of stuff people were getting back then. I don't know. I mean, this is definitely wood. It's ringing, it's got something in it, and that's what I'm thinking. Wouldn't that be awesome if this had a bullet? But why in the world would it be just a clump all by itself? I don't see anything obvious. Let me see what it shows on the detector. Yeah, that's showing lead. That's a 53. I was going to say maybe it's a nail inside of there, but it's not iron. Whatever's ringing it out. I think I'm going to have to clean this up. Yeah, see, it's definitely wood. You would think you would see like an impact where a bullet was sticking out or something, and I don't even see that. This is cool. Just the possibility of finding a relic like that. That's awesome. Well, I'm going to take this home and clean it better Because that's definitely bullet numbers. It's got a little weight, like it's got lead in it, honestly. That is so cool. I really hope that's what this turns out to be. I hope when I clean it up, it shows like an impact or something. Otherwise, I'd have to break it open, and I don't really want to do that. But you pretty much have to, I guess. So, all right.
Hey, so you just saw me dig that. This, I would say, is probably the coolest Civil War relic that I have found to date. Now, I have seen bullets inside pieces of wood, inside logs, which I've heard them referred to as war logs. This is awesome. I love it. So, what I have done is I have very carefully kind of chipped piece by piece the wood around the bubble that was in this piece of wood. And sure enough, it reveals that this is a 3-ring mini ball that's inside here. So what I'm going to do, and you can follow along, what I want to do now is I want to seal it with some clear lacquer. People have sent me pictures of theirs that have lasted over the years. They just look really cool once they're sealed up. So yeah, let's go preserve this relic. So I have carefully picked away some of the wood to expose the bullet. It's a 3-ringer inside here. Some people, I put it up on a Facebook group for Civil War artifacts just to kind of get people's input. And some people were saying to leave it alone. Some people were, I would say most people were showing off pictures of theirs, their artifact with the Civil War bullet. They look really cool sealed. I've seen those online before. So what I'm doing is just, I revealed enough of it so that you know what it is, but not too much that it will dislodge the bullet. And heard people say, and I've also read that if it's a pine tree, that the sap, something with the sap over time and the lead, it kind of glues the bullet in there. But I can feel the wood around the bullet is a lot softer than the regular wood itself. So I'm getting ready to seal this with some clear lacquer. Like I said, I've seen them before, and they're just awesome relics. And this one too is just perfect to display. Just the size, the way it sits. The way it sits is just crazy. See that? It's small enough to where it's just right there. So I'm so happy with this. The thing is with the people that said just leave it, and I was kind of leaning that way too. I'm like, I don't want to ruin it by digging in after it. But there's also some people that have said that, they thought they had like a war log, like a log that some people have had that's got Civil War bullets in it, or a small piece like this. And then eventually when they went in, it turned out there was nothing there, or it turned out that there was just some modern bullet in there. So I didn't want to have that. And, I don't want to display something and say, oh, well, this is what I think is in it. I knew what was in it just because of the weight and what it rings up as on the Manticore. It rings up like a Civil War bullet. Obviously I found Civil War bullets all around it. On the base of the same tree as I found this were other actually Confederate fired bullets. So yeah, so I think we've got the bullet uncovered enough now, cleaned up, to where now I'm going to put a coat of lacquer on it, and we'll go from there. All right, here goes. We've got, this is just a clear semi-gloss lacquer that I already had. Actually used it to do the countertop, the lunch top here in my shop. So, man, this thing has got some fumes. So, yeah, let's look at that.
Just bringing out the grains in the wood. I detect when I'm in the woods, if it's like a Civil War era or Civil War area, fallen logs, things like that, even trees that are standing that are super old, I'll swing my detector over them. Just hoping to find something like this, but I have not. Fallen trees, man. North Carolina with the humidity, just the climate we've got. A fallen tree is gonna just disintegrate pretty quick, decompose. But if I see remnants of it, I'll swing my detector over it. But nothing so far. I don't know how I would display a log. I've actually seen them in museums, Civil War museums. But yeah, how are you going to display that at home? This is just perfect. All right. So I think that's about as much as I'm going to do. And it may stick to this paper. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it here. I don't care if it dries and sticks to the paper a little bit. I want all of the lacquer the buildup of it and stuff to dry right here on the top. So that is where I'm going to leave it and probably let it dry overnight. This thing will be ready to display. All right. Show you what it looks like once it's dried.
Hey, so I finished preserving this Civil War bullet in this piece of wood. I think it turned out awesome. It's glossy. It's locked in there in the piece of wood. This is just a very special, very rare find, and I'm so happy I found it. I think it's a perfect size to display. You can see others had ideas to preserve their pieces of wood, a log. I've seen those in museums. And then a couple other people gave me some examples of how they preserved theirs, and they all look neat. So special thanks to some folks on Facebook who are willing to give me advice on how to preserve it, their ideas on what they did with theirs. So thank you for that. Very cool thing. A lot of lumber from 160 years ago, a lot of trees, they're long gone. If they've fallen in the forest, they're all shot up. A lot of them are they're just gone. When I do go through the woods and there are fallen trees, I always swing my detector over them. I found one tree that had Civil War buck and ball lodged in it. It was in the middle of some heavy Civil War fighting. But other than that, I haven't. So to find this is just awesome. Again, perfect size, and I'm really excited. So thanks for coming along with me as we kind of went through the paces and came out with a cool looking relic like that.